What's good, YouTube? It's the one Outkast back again, once again, with another video. And yeah, no, we got a new character dropping into Rivals of Aether 2. I was gonna make a guide on how to play Etalus, but two other people beat me to the punch. But you know what? Shoutouts to them for getting that in early. So you know what? How do I pivot? I'm just gonna talk about the patch overall. And you know, because there was a bunch of good things that have happened in this patch, and as well as a lot of things, a couple things to look forward to in the future. So yeah, no, we can just like slide on through. So kick back, relax as we progress. Okay, wow, starting off strong with this one, but I want to be honest, the only bad, or I guess disappointment for this patch is literally the character release and the character itself. The reason why I say disappointment is because coming from Rivals of Aether 1, where Etalus originates from, and going into Rivals 2 Etalus, which I'll get to in a moment, going from like the absurd movement he had in Rivals of Aether 1 to 2 is jarring, because he like basically gets none of it in Rivals of Aether 2. Like, one thing you'll see often is people complaining that he can't just get out of a dash attack either from wave dash or like just jumping out of it, like on whiff. That is like one of the biggest complaints that people have right now, which I personally understand why they did it on this character in particular, because it's so this is like a very, I guess, very polarizing character, ignoring the fact that other characters can do the exact same thing. But either way, I guess my personal take is that I'm just kind of sad that his tilt boost kind of sucks, or not kind of, it does suck. Like, it is awful in 2. I will show that off in a moment, but I need people to understand like how much you move with tilt boost. If I can pull it off. Like that. Oh my god. There we go. That's one. And like he goes flying on ice. Like that. Like, dude, that's insane distance, right? Now keep that in mind. So yeah, no, like, this is what I mean. He's like absurdly slow in this game, even on ice. And I complained about his tilt boost where he like it's just non-existent, so that's like non-tilt boost, right? And we do it when there's no ice. Yeah, he like goes nowhere. Even when there is ice. Like, yeah, like that he goes nowhere with the toe boost. Like, it's disappointing. You're literally better off wave dashing than doing it. Which, yeah, okay, it's an extra button press, but like that's not the point. Point is, he just goes nowhere solo toe boosting. He also just can't jump out of, well, he can jump, but it's like, why? It's not as fast, and also he can't wave dash out of it. Like you can't weave in and out like you could in the first clip I showed of Rivals of Aether 1, and I don't know, to me it's just jarring to come from Rivals 1 to Rivals of Aether 2, and this is what we get. So I understand that. However, if this were the case and you're gonna do that, like, personally, I would just like give him something, literally anything, and not make him feel, to make up for how clunky he feels. You know what I mean? Like, cause like, I don't know, it's still just jarring to me. And without giving him really all that much good, in terms of like movement. You kept, he still keeps like his bad smash attacks, like his bad sour spots. Like, look at this, huh? Why do you just go nowhere? You just go nowhere with down smash. Like, that's insane to me. And then on top of that, like, I feel like icicles should have more hit stun, especially if you can hit them and they're just non-existent afterwards. Like, I feel like there should just be more stun. Like, make the person taking the icicles feel stupid for not parrying it. That's my personal take on that matter. I don't know, that's just me. I don't know how other people feel about that. And then another thing that I feel is kind of blasphemous, it just feels wrong to me, is Etalus being the 3rd heaviest in the game and not being tied for 1st, or being the heaviest character in the game. That just feels wrong to me. Like, him not being the heaviest, because this character gets blown way off stage, like, and he has like no horizontal like recovery or way to get back horizontally without like just burning an air dodge, and then yeah, like, you get the idea. Now, moving on to the good, I mean, no, good is the wrong word, the great of this patch. To me, like, despite my grievances with how Etalus is right now, he is likely gonna get fixed, or like gonna get something. And despite all of it, like, he's still very fun to play as. Like, I still have a lot of fun playing as Etalus. It also brought new eyes to the game, and even maybe brought in returning people into Rivals of Aether 2. I will say that there is some good that Etalus has. Despite his disadvantaged state being not that amazing, like it was in Rivals 1, his advantage state it feels super oppressive a lot of the times, especially if you're not afraid to go off stage and just willing to like risk it all on like a fair off stage. Like, the opponent's just going flying. Or my personal favorite, just going for icicles up special, or even just up special near the ledge, like to where the opponent just gets spiked off of it. I think it's funny. He also brought in some neat things into Rivals of Aether 2, where his down special, if you're on top of the ice and then he down specials and you shield it, he just like completely halts like the shield regen. I just think that's interesting, that there's some level of experimentation there. Okay, it is currently the 29th as I'm trying to edit this, and the devs like updated the game, basically giving Etalus something. So that's another good thing that they do, is they take community feedback and then like try to work in like, okay, what can make him better and better and better. And I'm just gonna assume that they're gonna do this for a lot of the characters on release that feel underwhelming, or they will tone down characters that feel way too crazy. And yeah, no, like, I guess that's the pacing that we're going with, and honestly, I'm okay with that. More good things that they did in this patch was adding a tutorial mode. My goodness, honestly, I'm just glad we got something in this regard. There is now a tutorial mode for those that are jumping into a platform fighter for the first time ever. And there's even like a quick video tutorial to start, like with just like the basics. And then we also got beginner movement, offense, and defense to start off with. There's gonna be more advanced things later on, which I'd hope rather sooner than later, with the intermediate and advanced stuff, because this was in Rivals of Aether 1, but this was well after, I think this was well after the release of Rivals of Aether 1. So even though it's late, it's still way earlier than like Rivals of Aether 1, where Rivals 2 has it now, like 2 months out, 2 or 3 months out. Because that was one of the pitfalls I feel with Rivals of Aether 1, where it felt way too hard to get into. And then by the time the tutorial mode was added, people already knew what they were doing, like in that game. So yeah, no, tutorial mode, having tutorial mode now is good, and it to me feels like now the new players don't feel completely left out in the dust in favor of people that already know how to play platform fighters. And yeah, no, it's just to me it's a step in the right direction. One other fine addition that the team added for this patch was you got an extra reward for doing arcade mode again, and you need to get the Abyssal medal, which is like the highest medal in arcade mode, and get a total time of under 4 minutes and 30 seconds on hard mode, and you get an Abyssal color palette. And this color palette is reminiscent of the Abyss skins of Rivals of Aether 1. Having more reasons to do single player stuff is great. Just more steps in the right direction that makes me look forward into the future of the game, or at least what the devs are trying to do for these patches. Now, MIDI rant. I was lied to about the time when I first did it. As you can see, like I have a time of 3 minutes and 56 seconds. I thought you had to get a time total of 4 minutes. I was going insane trying to do this. I'm just glad it's 4 minutes and 30 seconds, so people don't have to go through what I had to go through. So yeah, I thought that was funny. Now, I mentioned looking forward to the future, and we have 3 events lined up, like 3 big events lined up in our sights for Rivals of Aether 2. One of those being, in this coming February, we have Genesis, right? That has just broken past, as I'm recording this, broken past 500 entrants for Rivals of Aether 2. That is huge. That is like the biggest numbers we've gotten for any Rivals of Aether event ever. It's truly amazing to see finally some growth in the series, especially coming in as a fan ever since I became a lifelong fan after lockdown started. And dude, seeing new faces get excited over the game, it's just astounding to me. Maybe at Genesis we get a character announcement, and to gear up the fans even more, with an already roaring crowd, with hopefully a roaring crowd, unlike last year. Oh man, that was rough. But anyways, the second event that's happening a bit after, well, not a bit, literally a month later, is Battle BC 7. Now, for those that don't know, for whatever reason, but I shout it out constantly, I am from Vancouver. I am from British Columbia, Canada, and it's amazing that Rivals of Aether 2 found its way back to Battle BC after Battle BC 4. Because again, I'll admit, I was salty for the longest when it wasn't announced to us that it wasn't returning for Battle BC 5, and obviously didn't return for 6, and now seeing it in Battle BC 7 really warms my heart. Because it makes it feel like to me my efforts in playing the game and trying to rep BC isn't worthless to me. Because it's hard when literally, we were at one event for 1 year, and then for 2 years we weren't at this event, and it sucked. And I'm just glad that it's finally happening again. Now, for the third event lined up in our sights for tournament going, and it's in the summer, Rivals of Aether 2 has just been able to get into EVO. EVO, of all things. EVO, for those that don't know, is the biggest fighting game tournament of the year, and it's giving Rivals a stage. It doesn't matter if it's main stage or not, it's still one big platform. This is a huge, to me, I feel like it's a huge significance to the platform fighter genre. This is a platform fighter that has its own IP that got into EVO. To further solidify why this is huge, for context, last year's Evo 2024, Street Fighter 6 had about like 5,000 entrants. That is literally 10 times like of Genesis size as of right now. There was about a total of 10,000 attendees, so that is even more eyes possibly towards Rivals of Aether 2. And you know what? In my experience, dude, I don't think it's controversial to say this, but I feel like FGC players are more open to try platform fighters than other people in platform fighting games, even. It was a struggle to even get people to try Rivals of Aether 1, but when I went to a local, I had about like 3 FGC players like try it versus like somebody playing Smash, and like they didn't want anything to do with it. The last time a platform fighter was at Evo was, I believe, about 3 years ago as of this year, and hopefully Rivals 2 keeps being the outlier and maybe a mainstay for Evo. Now, lastly, the other reason why I wanted to pivot this video into talking about like the overall patch was Aether Studios announcing that they're coming up with this content creator program. In this creator program, what it does is it basically means that you can support content creators by entering in their code, and the creators get a certain percentage after each in-game purchases, and I believe it's about 5%. However, with the creator bundle, it's about 25%. In which, speaking of, I'm part of the content creator program, so yeah, no, there you can see this button where it says support a creator, and then you enter in a code for supporting a creator. So for my code, I have 1 Outkast. So if you want to support me, then enter in 1 Outkast, and then I get a certain percentage off of each in-game purchases. But since I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to just use my own code. I don't know. I'll just use Zeus the Goose ZGD. So like, yeah, there's like a whole slew of people in the content creator program. Give them a shout out. Now I want to get this out of the way now before anybody asks. What this means by expires after 14 days after entry. It basically means after 14 days you would have to enter in your favorite creator's code if you want to keep supporting them, or if you want to support somebody else, you can enter in their code. And I don't know, like let's just choose Santito. His is Puff, for example. So you'd have to do that, and then you can clear it out at any time. So yeah, thank you for those that use my code. Anyways, yeah. So yeah, no, this is to me an extremely big deal, because even despite everything right now, like, Aether Studios wants to support its content creators, giving back even more to the community, which is just, it just amazes me, honestly. And for them to like even to like, it feels like it's like they're taking a chance on me, somebody who's like a relatively small channel size, like as of right now. And this also just shows people, like, if you're passionate about the series and have an itch to make content, this is literally prime opportunity to do it, like right now, if you so wish. Because as well, like, none of this was happening, like, to my knowledge, none of this was happening for Rivals of Aether 1. And now it's happening for the sequel. Like, it's just amazing to me. And also being part of this program, like, puts in perspective, like, how many talented people are, like, willing to, like, shell out for the series, and because we all love the game. Okay, that's gonna wrap up this video. I'm just optimistic about the future for the game, because that's all we really can do for the team and show support for them in that way. And anyways, if you want to show support for me, use code 1Outkast for any in-game purchases in Rivals of Aether 2. And other ways to support me for free are liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Those are free. And then also, again, if you enjoyed what you saw and want more of me, I stream on Twitch on my days off, which are Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. And I also stream on YouTube, so even more incentive to subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky. I swear I will use these like to promote. I will use these to promote. So yeah, follow me on there. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Peace.